Welcome to Dodgers Daily. Casey Porter here. So glad that you decided to tune in. Fans, today we have one of my favorite coaches in all of baseball. We always talk about the creativity in the system. It starts right here on the offensive side. Nasiatka, the AAA Oklahoma City hitting coach this past season alongside Emmanuel Burris. He also was a hitting coach. Hey, Dylan, it's always an honor to get to speak to you at the stadium, especially whenever we get to talk on these interviews.
Hey, my pleasure, Casey. It's great to sit down and chat again.
So I got to know, first of all, of course, you have a young family at the house, and that's super cool. You're getting to decompress a little bit. You're getting to spend time with them. So how is that, first of all?
It's been great. Yeah, we spent a lot of time away from the family during the season, and so when the season ends and it's time to come home, just having the opportunity to pick the girls up and play with them is awesome. They grow up a lot, during the course of the year. And so there's a lot that we kind of miss out on. We see on Zoom or whatever, but no, it's awesome. The family's doing great. Everybody's in a great spot. So we're doing well.
So you got moved up from high A to the AAA team last year, from high A Great Lakes to AAA Oklahoma City. No, actually, you were in Tulsa for a year, weren't you?
I
so
was
you
in
moved
Tulsa,
up one step at a time. So can you kind of take us through the different levels and what the difference in terms of coaching on those levels?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I was originally hired as the short season advanced. I think it was a rookie advanced league, right, for the Pioneer League. Never went to that league.
Was that Ogden?
That was going to be Ogden, yeah. So that was in 2020. And then in 21, I go to Rancho, which was low A. 22, I go to high A. 23, I go back to Rancho. 24, I go to Tulsa. And then last year, I go to OKC. And so at each step of the way, things are a little bit different. The players respond to a little bit different types of coaching. Now, the players they're still people. So it doesn't matter if they're 17 or if they're 30 years old, 32 years old, right? They're still people, same type of conversations, but the guys they're a little more in tune with information, start to get a little bit better at processing some things and taking coaching for what you're trying to get out of it rather than for what they feel personally with it. But it's been a great ride so far. In both those 21 and 23 seasons, we had each of our girls. So that's it was a great opportunity to be home for that. But really, with the AAA level, what makes it unique, of course, is that we have a lot of players that aren't homegrown necessarily at that level. A lot of guys who come in midway through the year, who've been through the different stages of their career. Maybe they're still in a good phase of their career, and we're going to use them at the major league level that year that we get them. But also we have guys who are trying to kind of climb back into their career. So it's really unique. There are a lot of different types of players, a lot of different age groups, and a lot of guys with families. So it's really unique. I think it actually is a really tight-knit group. And AAA is funny because a lot of players or, people might say like, hey, nobody wants to be in AAA. Like everybody wants to be in A-ball because they're on their way up or in AA.
Right.
But once you get to AAA, like nobody wants to be there. But honestly, Casey, our group we had this year, even though that might have been joked and said, nobody acted that way. And it was just an amazing group to have.
Yeah, it was. It was. I got to see it every day. And, hey, I steal this from you, and I never give you credit except for the one or two times we go on air every year. The big gulp thing. I mean, I'm telling you, I think I use it like once a day on my post. It's the greatest thing I've ever heard of in terms of player development. Hey, a guy might be great at this, he might be great at that, and he might get stuck in results mode, and he only wants to do that. But you want to bring out every quality they have and find the best version of that player. You call it filling up your big gulp. Can you kind of take us into that?
Yeah. So with all of these players, right, like every player in professional baseball has something they're good at. and usually it's a few things they're good at. That's the reason they're there. And we refer to them as tools, right? And you're really not signed to be a professional baseball player unless you have at least one tool.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of major league players who only use that one tool, and that is their career, whether it's their defense, their running ability, their contact ability. There are a lot of players that do this. So if you think about it as you've got something that's positive, your skill set may not be as big as a Hall of Fame skill set, but it is a skill set, and we want to get the most out of that. So if that's a once a week player, let's maximize your skill set as a once a week player, right? So that would be like filling your cup up, and maybe that's, there's a small, medium, large, and extra large cup. It doesn't mean that just because you have a small cup, your big gulp is a little smaller. Like, that still doesn't hold you back from being a major leaguer. Right. And so that's really, I think that's our optimistic view of player development. We are always looking for, how do we get this guy as close to possible to being a major leaguer as we can? Because we really want a lot of instances like Ryan Ward, who don't just knock at the door, they knock the thing down. That's what we're looking for.
Yeah. Yeah. So I got to ask you before we get into the players. So you're in Rancho, which is single A. You're in high A Great Lakes, which is high A. Guys they're ways away from the major leagues still. They've never been there. Probably haven't hung around a whole lot of guys who have been in the major leagues other than at spring training. So you're trying to build the big gulp up for these guys, and it's a building process. Then you get into AAA, and it's like, okay, well, in high A, I'm trying to build skills that maybe in 2 or 3 years can be the big gulp. But in AAA, I need to tell guys and train with guys things that 5 minutes from now might get them back to the major league. So how does that contrast work?
At that level, sometimes we're looking back and we're finding what's the best version we've seen of you.
Okay.
Especially for some of these players that are really established, because, Casey, are you a golfer at all?
Yeah, I live on a golf course, by the way. Yeah.
Okay. So I absolutely love golf, right? I'm an avid golfer, and we see this with PGA players, but I think you can probably relate to this in your own golf game. Sometimes you find things in your game and you start playing really well with those couple of things. And then as your game goes on, like now you get another thing and you start thinking or doing that, and it changes your golf game a little bit, and it changes your golf game a little bit. And then sometimes you go through a stretch where you're like, man, my golf game I have nothing working in my golf game right now. I don't know what happened to it. It was so good 2 months ago. I was chipping, I was putting, but now I don't have anything. And see, the beauty of player development and the beauty of being a coach with the technology, with the video that we have available today, is I can look back and I can say, hey, Casey, I have a version of you right here. Are you thinking or trying to do anything you tried to do at that point? And I it's so funny. Guys just kind of get off of some of the lanes that got them to be a really good player. So sometimes it's that. Sometimes it's introducing a new routine, or it's actually changing maybe the way they think about things. The way the game is now, front offices know exactly what is going to lead to scoring runs, preventing runs, and winning baseball games. So when we can give players accurate feedback and we can say, this is going to help you be a good player, or a player that is marketable and desired by front offices, players respond so well to that. And so it sometimes is introducing new thoughts, sometimes is getting some old ones back, and a lot of times it's collaborative with the players, and that's so much fun. I mean, it is so much fun to do this.
Do you have that moment where you went, okay, you saw like a Justin Dean, you saw him on the major league level, or Alex Freeland, and you saw them hit at the major league level, and you went, dude, we worked on that like 2 weeks ago, and it's working at the major league level. Did you have that really cool moment?
Yeah. There's been a few of those for sure. Nice. Especially when we had Haesung Kim, and so Haesung completely changed his swing. Completely changed the swing that he had in the KBO, and we did some stuff, and we just, I mean, we were working. I mean, we were down and dirty in the cage and like really getting after it. I mean, like talking about the details of the swing during the game once our season started, that typically you really want the guys to focus on their plan and play in the game. I mean, we're talking about like really detailed things during the game. It was an adventure. It was amazing. And when he went up and immediately was an impact player, and it wasn't just because of the amazing athleticism and the defense that he has, like he had some great at bats. And
yes, he did.
That was an awesome moment. There are a lot more of those, you know, and with Freeland and Dean, like you said, there's a lot more of those at the AAA level. And you do still feel that level of pride when they go to the next level. You know, if you're in AA and they go to AAA and perform, you feel that same pride. But it's great to help the big league team out, you know, and that's what we're all in it for.
I'm sure you get that text message after the game. Hey, Dylan, I appreciate you working with me back in Oklahoma City. Swing feels good, right? That's rewarding.
Oh yeah, it'd be nice maybe to get that, you know, one or two more times than we get it. That's the thankless job of being a coach. But
absolutely.
But you know, reality is it is fulfilling. And when a player goes up to the major league level, everybody in PD is sitting there just living and dying every at bat with them, and we're rooting them on.
So what is it like as the minor league guy? Of course, you're not. Were you in the dugout for the World Series?
No, I was not.
Okay, so not getting to be in the dugout, but you've worked with all these guys. Obviously, you've been in the Dodgers system forever. You have a big thumb on everything that's going on. You've had a big thumb for the last 4 or 5 years on it, and so you see the big club win a World Series. What's it like for a guy like you that's not there and in present, but has had such a big part in it behind the scenes, maybe?
Oh man, you really can't describe how much pride you feel, you know, being a part of that. There's a lot of pride and fortunate. You know, I'm extremely fortunate and extremely lucky just to be associated and working with the Dodgers at this time as a Dodger.
No doubt.
With the team in LA right now and just everything around the organization, it's just an amazing time. And I just really got to give all that glory to God. And there's nothing, I'm really not really deserving of that, but yeah, there's just so much pride.
Yeah, you work for the Dodgers. You get to play quite a bit of golf. You have a beautiful family at the house. Life is good for Dylan Nasiatka right now, right?
Not too shabby. Yeah.
Not too shabby.
I don't know what I did. I don't know what I did to deserve it right now, but yeah, thank you.
That's one thing I love about you is that you appreciate every second that you get to have all these wonderful things that we all have. So, okay, let's dive right into the roster this year. Of course, Ryan Ward, I talked about him the other day on one of my shows, so we'll get to him here in a minute. The guy I think I was the most proud of all year, because I'm going to put it point blank. There's been times where I've been disappointed in the swing and miss. I thought there was more to the execution piece than he was maybe putting out there in games at different levels. But I thought Jose Ramos, especially once he got to Oklahoma City this year, man, did he look good. I was really proud of Jose.
Yeah, no doubt. And Jose and I talked to him about this in front of the team. I told him point blank, this is the best I've seen you play.
I agree.
And I saw him in 2021. We thought that we might have had a player who could do this. And then since then, it's kind of, you know, he's kind of sputtered around a little bit. But consistency, I think, would be the word for him that we really saw. And it was a consistent approach to the at-bat, a consistent pre-game work, and a consistent swing. So that was it was amazing. You know, the guy's he's got amazing ability.
Wow.
Just amazing ability. So yeah, he was fantastic.
Yeah. So was there a specific trigger with him, like swing wise, like maybe do this or that, or approach wise, like maybe let it get a little bit deeper and think maybe opposite field gap? Was there anything like that specific to a trigger wise for him?
Well, like Casey, we just mentioned it earlier, right? Like we're trying to maximize each player, you know, based on what they've got. And, the thing with Jose is like, hey, can we make as much contact as possible?
Yes.
And so really it was a lot of messaging, of staying simple, of making contact, of like, even when you don't have a strike on you, we're not just swinging to swing, we're swinging to hit the ball. We're swinging in a way that's under control. Yeah. And if he just hits it on the barrel, I mean, it's crushed. So that was really with him, is just keeping him on track. And these are things he wants to do. It's not like he wants to be a guy who does swing and miss. So he stayed on top of that, and we just continue to message and reinforce that with him.
A guy that I got to see all the way back to TCU, because I don't think Oklahoma State ever got him out when he was a Horned Frog there playing at TCU. He was absolutely unbelievable. Weird, crazy story that Luken Baker, who we're talking about, he actually played in the Cardinal system forever, made his major league debut with them. And then Oklahoma City had not played Memphis since 2019 until this year. And then the series that they actually come to Oklahoma City, Luken Baker had just gotten traded to Oklahoma City from Memphis. And he actually hit a walk-off, I think it was a home run, to beat them on that Friday or whatever, the Tuesday that we started that series. Luken Baker, I'm just telling you right now, you didn't get to work with him a whole lot because it was later in the season. I have no idea how he's not in the major leagues.
He's a major league talent. He's got a ton of thump. Luken's awesome. Before Luken even came over, we acquired him. I sent some. So we kind of put some stuff together, put like some videos together, looking at like this is another guy where his swing was at a point of his best stretch, and like comparing it to where he was currently at, and just saying like, hey, do you want to have a conversation about some of these things that changed? He was like on board right away. So he made some quick adjustments, getting back to some older things he was doing with his swing. He's a smart baseball player. He's a baseball guy, and he's a great human. He's a great human, a really funny guy, gentle giant, joy to be around every day.
Yeah, he is. He was in Stillwater. I was actually at the game where he was known as a pitcher in college. Most of all, he was a two-way player. I was at the game where he hurt his arm. So the game that he never got to pitch ever again. We actually talked about that a little bit. That was a lot of fun. So, okay, let's keep diving into this. My boy, Austin Gauthier, Gator, earlier in the season struggled. I think he probably tried to hit a little bit too much slug, kind of went back to himself about halfway through. Can you talk about Gator?
Yeah, you kind of hit the nail on the head with that. I think Austin tried to do a little more, thinking it would get him to the big leagues faster, but he was really steady in his work all year. I mean, he's like a very studious worker. Whether he's playing well or he's not playing as well as he'd like. He probably works too hard when he's not playing well, but just kind of put his head down. At one point it was like, I think it was kind of broken. He's like, I don't even know what I'm doing. I've been trying to do this. I'm trying to hit the ball hard, and it's just like, I just can't do this. So we kind of went back a little bit with him too. It's like, hey, this is sort of where you've been when you played well, and settled him down a little bit. He took like the chipper mindset, maybe if I pick up a base hit here, I feel a little better. I pick up another base hit, I feel a little better. All of a sudden we've got a couple 2-hit games, a couple 3-hit games. And then we got some momentum where he had a couple of hitting streaks in there. So, that's the ebbs and flows of the season. It's really tough to be the exact same player every single day your whole career. And, but he was able to right the ship. I felt really good about it. His defense took a huge step forward.
Did.
And he's really pressing, base running, and being aggressive on the bases too. So he's becoming a more well-rounded player.
Totally agree. Okay, so the LA Dodgers fans didn't quite get to see the type of impact that Dalton Rushing can have. He had more of a limited role at the major league level, which always plays a factor when you get inconsistent at bats. It's a very difficult game to begin with. Inconsistent at bats makes it even that tougher. But I've been telling people for a long time the left-handed hit tool for Dalton Rushing, absolutely legit. His swing decisions, the way that he can thump the ball, the way he can also kind of use he can do it all. So Dalton Rushing, talk about him.
Yeah, like he was changing roles, had gone from the everyday player to really this like understudy type of role where he's kind of learning the ropes. He's in he's in the pitching meetings, so he's learning just how the major league staff likes to take information pregame and do that stuff. There's a lot of emphasis on his defense. So I would say, even though in the limited role it looked like he didn't take a step forward, he took a massive step forward. The experience is unbelievable for him. I think I don't know, to what degree the at bats will change, but like he's going to get better at playing in whatever role he gets, the longer he's with the major league club. And so no, he did a nice job. He keeps maturing every year. He's a very smart guy. So I think the future will be fine. The future will be bright with him.
And Rortvet, I think Rortvet surprised, well, I know he surprised a whole lot of people, probably you including yourself, because we got him so late. And he's thought of this defensive first type of guy. He's thought of being kind of a clubhouse guy that keeps everybody loose. Lo and behold, the offense was good for Rortvet. Can you talk about what type of offensive player the Dodgers could expect from him moving forward?
Yeah. No, he definitely came in and he had some big hits in LA for us, which is that's amazing. He went through a stretch in his career where there was a bit of his swing not being where he really wanted it, and also a lot of bad luck. And it was kind of like playing roulette. It kept hitting the same color over and over and over. Right. Which was unfortunately like balls going into the fielder's gloves for a while. And really, I think statistically he was due to have some of those land. So he did a great job. I think he's a pro. He's been at this for a long time. He's a pro. He's a very steady voice, and a guy that he's going to suit up and do his job day in and day out. So it wasn't surprising that he got the hits. Actually, it was surprising that prior to us getting him, he had struggled for as long as he did. Yeah. Just, baseball can be really cruel sometimes. Yes. And it had been a little bit to him.
Super talented Alex Freeland. It feels like to me, I have not done any research on this, but it feels like to me Alex Freeland had more games this year where he had both a right-handed hit and a left-handed hit in the same game. I really feel like Alex Freeland grew up right-handed as a hitter. And again, I don't have any stats to back that up, but can you talk about him a little bit?
The right-handed swing is getting better. He really is working to be he wants to be a dependable hitter from both sides. So the left-handed swing got better too. So yes. He did some really good things on both sides. He got his feet wet in the major leagues this year, which we were over the moon about. No doubt. For him, and the experience is going to serve him so well going forward. Some really big hits for us in AAA. Had some really big hits in the major leagues for us. Hit some really, really tough pitching. I think he homered. His first homer might have been off Yu Darvish, which is that's a legendary pitcher. And then hit a really good fastball for a homer in the big league. So he's as exciting as it gets as a player. Took some big steps forward in a lot of different areas too.
I know Dalton and Alex are very tight, and they're both very intense. Can you talk to that as far as their mentalities?
Yeah, they're a little bit of a football type mentality with both those guys. Like, even though they're baseball players and they play a long season and they understand it too, they're really smart. They understand the length of the season and how that goes. They still take every play as if that's the only play that matters. So it's something that as an organization we love about both of them. Yeah.
Can you, at whatever depth you can get into, can you talk about a few of the adjustments that you guys actually made in the swing of Ha-Seong Kim, and then just kind of talk about when you first saw him? I know when I saw him at Media Day, I was like, oh, dude, this guy's going to be a hell of a lot of fun to watch this year. This is awesome. But just kind of some of the things that you saw offensively that impressed you so much that you really feel like Dodgers fans need to know moving forward about him.
Yeah, the first thing is they said Ha-Seong Kim was fast.
Yeah, right.
I don't know. I mean, it is freaky fast.
It is.
He has the ability to outrun the ball. and his turns around the bases are so tight. It's almost like the base paths are banked. I mean, it's unbelievable. So that's the first thing. But yeah, in the swing, I mean, I think it stands out pretty clearly if you look at some KBO video of him and compare that to what he did this year. He had a very big leg kick. He had a big leg kick and kind of bailed to first base as he made his move forward. Yeah. So the pitching in the KBO is a little different. Pitchers will like challenge a lot of hitters inside. And so a lot of hitters kind of gear that swing to making sure they can cover that inside part of the plate. And in the United States, it's a tick different. While there's still pitchers that will throw inside, pitchers throw inside more for effect and then like want to work the ball away. So it's really important to have coverage and not be committed to one side or the other. So he stopped leg kicking. He worked with more of grounded kind of like toe tap gather. And really the focus of all of that was just to keep him in a nice centered balanced position. So he could use the whole field. He could handle like front to back, fastball to change up, breaking ball stuff. And it did put him in a really good position for that, to do that. And he put in so much work to do that.
I know Dave's explained what front to back means for pitchers. Can you explain what front to back means as a hitter? When you say, hey, you got to cover the front to back to a hitter, what does that mean to them?
Yeah. Well, pitching arsenals now, we're covering a few different categories of pitching. So we're covering pitch shape, like incoming shape. All right. So that's the first one. We're also covering angle. So there's angles coming across. Then we're covering unique releases, right? So whether that's like sidearm, way over the top, way down below, we're covering those. And then we're covering east-west shape, north-south shape, and front to back. Very rare that pitchers have like all of these categories that they check off. Most of them have a couple, and that's a good major league pitcher. But the front to back would be, your fastball at 95, and now we're seeing a lot of splitters. But, even like a 12-6 curveball at 73, that's a 23 mile an hour gap. Yeah. 20. And so that's the front to back game. Pitchers want to disrupt timing, and there are guys who do it subtly, and they'll have an 88 mile an hour slider with a 95 mile an hour fastball. But more and more pitchers now are adding in an 82 mile an hour splitter or kick change or something that's 12, 13, 14 miles an hour off of that fastball. So it makes the timing gap a lot bigger. Yeah.
That helped Robo, I think, a lot. Robo could always throw at 98, but that front to back where he actually spread out some some velocities there, I think really helped him.
Absolutely. Yeah. He made some really cool adjustments this year. Yeah. Like props to our pitching guys. That was the first pitch he threw. He made some delivery changes. The first pitch he threw, the hitter, like he almost jumped. Like he didn't see it very well. You could tell, and it was the first time I saw a hitter get really uncomfortable. A right-handed hitter got really uncomfortable just on a fastball. And I think I mentioned something to David Anderson like on that pitch. I'm like, hey, did you guys change his delivery? Because that was awesome right there. Yeah. And he's like, yeah, we did.
I tell you, a guy that really, really high, and I think whether he sticks as a high-level major leaguer or not, is going to be the hit tool, Noah Miller. He got to Oklahoma City this year. He was really, really hot for about a month. He cooled off for about a month. And then I was really proud of him because he came right back on towards the end of the season and finished things up strong. So Noah Miller, I thought, had a really good presentation at Oklahoma City.
He did. Yeah. Great showing as a young guy. Like he's coming in there. Switch hitting is tough because you're splitting time working on each side of the swing as we were talking about with Freeland. But, and then it's a new level. AAA provides some new challenges, pitchers who are really good at reading swings. They have different types of arsenals, and it's not like, it's not the same as a high A or a double A where you have a lot of pitchers who use their stuff to bully hitters, but maybe they aren't in the strike zone as much, or they don't have great secondary pitches with that quite yet. In AAA, you have pitchers who are up and down in the major leagues, and they're professionals, and they'll throw pitches that they're not really trying to throw in the zone. They say, I'll throw this close because I want to see how you react to it. And then how you react to it is what they'll do next. So Noah did an awesome job of seeing some of that and reacting, and also being smart in how we were giving him information about his performance and using that information to apply that and get better too.
It's amazing how complicated this game is, but then how simple as coaches you have to make it for the players at times, right?
Yeah, that's everything, man.
Yeah.
There's a lot of numbers, and we talk about this with the body, or that with the swing, or this with the mental side, and realistically, the player just like, hey, can you tell me something that's going to help me right now? Like, is this fastball, is it fast? Am I going to be able to see it?
Yeah, it's like, what pitch is he throwing to it? Fastball. Okay, thanks, Coach. Appreciate it. That kind of. Yeah. Okay, Esteury Ruiz, you watch this guy play, especially at the AAA level, and you're like, God, not only should this guy be a major leaguer, this guy should be like really good at the major league level. And so a lot of potential here for Esteury Ruiz. I don't know if I'm saying his first name right. I've heard every announcer say it in a different way. So I'll leave it with that. But this is a guy with a really, really, really high ceiling, I think. Yeah,
Esteury is extremely talented. He moves really well. He can steal a base anytime he wants. He can steal a base if everybody knows he's going to steal. He can still steal it, which is an amazing skill to have. His defense actually trended into a positive direction, and what was cool was a young guy. All right, so Jose Ramos actually helped Esteury with his defense and his throwing.
Oh, really?
Which was awesome. Yeah, there was they got together. Like, Jose obviously has a cannon, but he works on it. And Esteury talked to him and like started throwing with him, and like really took some steps forward with his own throwing. So that was great. But yeah, he's got ability just flowing out of him. He's got a lot of pop, and he's a really he's a pest. He's a pest on the bases and in the box.
Yeah, absolutely is. And you got to work with Mac I don't know if you worked with him or not, but Max Muncy was in Oklahoma City for a while. 2 different stops. And interesting, the first stop, he went like the first 3 games without a hit. So what was that like with, I'm sure he probably didn't even know where he was at the time, and it's not a big deal to him because he knows it's going to come. But what was it like getting to work with him, and what is it like for a guy like you who is the AAA coach and dealing with the guy who's won all these World Series? He's got all of his offensive game established before he ever even met you, right? So what's it like for a guy like you getting to work with him? How does that work?
Well, first of all, Max is an awesome guy.
He is.
He's a pro. He's a guy that is a great teammate. So he does a lot of things behind the scenes that just make him a great baseball player and a great person to have in the clubhouse. He's very personable with the AAA staff. He's very personable with us. He has some things he sort of needs. So my job is making sure that Max gets all of the things he needs in his routine. And then when he needs swings pregame, like, he has a little bit different routine in the major leagues than our minor leaguers might have. And so making sure that he, that we're available to do those things. As far as things like with his swing, obviously most of those are coordinated with the major league staff. They're busy too. So sometimes we have some notes that we're going off of, hey, he's sort of working on this or that. And I know Max talked a little bit about some adjustments he made in the first stint to kind of get himself rolling. And, that was, again, coordinated with the major league staff. So there's, partly that. And then the other part is when these guys come in, we know that they're typically going to help out the other players that are there.
Yes.
And they're going to offer some sort of like mentorship. Max is a guy who, when he's in your clubhouse, he's on your team. Even though he's playing for the Los Angeles Dodgers, he's an Oklahoma City Comet, and that's the way he looks at it. Mm-hmm. So he is talking with every single person in that clubhouse. He's coming in, he's sitting down with the AAA staff, and he's talking with us. So, that's a really good experience to have, and a lot of fun to have him. And just anytime you get to work with a world-class hitter who's had World Series homers that have changed baseball history.
Yes.
You really embrace that. And it's a lot of fun. Tell you what, he works on his plate discipline. He's got a great eye, right?
Yes.
And he's working on his plate discipline at all times. So throwing him batting practice can get like a little tricky. I will say,
absolutely,
you really want to make sure you're throwing strikes. Otherwise, Max is going to be in there for a little bit. So, but he's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to get on my mountaintop perch and I'm going to scream as loud as I can for anybody who wants to hear me. I don't know if the guy's ever going to help a major league team ever again, but I know that he has my respect as much as any major leaguer that could come through Oklahoma City. Chris Oakey, I can't tell you what guys like that do for a roster year in and year out and throughout the entire year. I love Chris Oakey.
You said it. Talk about the ultimate vibes, glue, Clubhouse guy. I mean, this guy does a tremendous job of all of that. You need a DJ. Chris is the DJ. Absolutely. You need a guy to say, hey, let's go, boys. We can do this. He's that guy. You need a guy just to, do anything. He's doing all the little things. He's the man. I love Oki. He's one of those, I would do anything for any of these guys.
Yes.
But I might do some, I might go really out of my way to help this guy if he ever needs help, because he's just a salt of the earth human being.
Yes. 2 or 3 years ago, you guys went to the 2 coaching system, 2 pitching coaches, 2 hitting coaches. So there was another hitting coach on Oklahoma City's roster, Emmanuel Burris, who actually played in the major leagues as well. So I've always wondered how that worked, because it's like, do you say, okay, well, this guy probably suits Dylan better, this other guy suits Manny better, or do you both work with the same hitters? I mean, how do you keep the messaging the same and on point? All that, how does that work out?
We're talking all the time. So every second that we're not in the cage, we're sitting there talking about this guy's on this, he's doing this, I'm not sure I like this. Why did he take that swing last night at this pitch? So we're talking a lot about that. And then we let the players move to where they want to go. So we have 2 cages in Oklahoma City. One of us is in each cage. And if they want to go, certain guys will go with a certain coach just because they like his flips, or they like his BP, or, sometimes they like the content and the way you say it better than the other person. And neither of us had any ego with that. And Manny speaks Spanish. I speak Spanish too, but it's not close to the Spanish that Manny can speak. So Manny does a great job of taking those. But there were times where we tag teamed and stayed with guys, and there's times where it's like, hey, you're doing your thing here. I'm with this guy. You're with that guy. We really didn't have any line drawn in the sand. But most of the time, before we ever say anything with a guy or something to him, we're talking about it beforehand. So that was a really good partnership over the 25 season for sure. Manny's awesome. We laughed a lot. We did. We sweated a lot together.
Has he ever been in a bad mood?
Manny?
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's tough to get him there.
Yeah, it is.
It's mostly bad check swing calls.
Yeah.
Or something
he
like
actually
that.
got tossed once this year, I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's mostly that stuff. Other than that, no, he's in a good mood.
Okay, so one question behind the scenes, one last question from kind of behind the curtains for me that I'm curious about. So let's say an Andrew Friedman or a Billy Gasparino or Brandon Gums, they want to know about a particular player, the offensive improvements, the adjustments, this and that. They want to know all about this guy because they're evaluating them to bring him up to the major leagues. Mm-hmm. Is that a daily reporting system? Is it a Zoom? Is it a report? How does all of that information get to the guys that need to make the decisions on the 26-man rosters?
Well, we do have a nightly report after a game. It's a very brief, just here's the offense. We do recap reports kind of monthly,
Okay.
But also, if something shifts, if something does change on purpose, we post it on our internal site and make sure that they have sort of like a timeline of what he's been trying to do. There's a lot of good ideas and things that work. There's honestly some things that we try to post too that don't work, and that's something we're trying to push the envelope. So sometimes we're going to do things that really don't pan out, and we try to get those down on the in our system as well. But we're doing some of that. Again, if we do something notable, we'll probably also make different videos or whatever, just kind of demonstrating like, here's what we did, how it looks. We might put their routine up. We're talking a lot with the major league staff as well, but all of this is documented, and
cool.
Yeah, we try to keep that all moving along together.
I know you went to college in South Carolina, correct? Where were you originally from?
Originally from Bakersfield, California.
Yeah, I knew that kid. You didn't grow up with weather, but you went to college in South Carolina, correct?
Correct. Yeah, I actually went to two different schools out of the state. I went to Hofstra University in Long Island, New York, and I went to the University of South Carolina, Beaufort, in Bluffton, South Carolina.
Yeah. Does Gothier know that you went to Hofstra?
Oh, yeah.
So did you guys share some stories there?
Oh, we went to the same bars. Yeah, I mean.
Nice.
You know, we talked about where we got the Dizzy Lizard was the old like bar that everybody went to, and you know the different like sandwich shops we all went to, and I knew a lot of the staff that he had, and that's like a every other day thing. We're talking about something that went down at Hofstra.
Absolutely. Okay, so I got to ask you the craziest weather event, whether you were either in Tulsa or, of course, it's going to be some kind of blizzard in Great Lakes, but whether in Tulsa in 2024 and Oklahoma City 2025, craziest weather event that you can remember, like you're like, holy crap, this is amazing.
I got two. I'll be quick on the first one. The first one's in 24. It was my second day in Tulsa. The siren went off at like midnight, the tornado siren, and I didn't know what to do, so I just stayed in bed. All right, so that was in 24, but nothing happened. The tornado didn't touch down. But in 25, the craziest one there was we were in a tornado watch. The game is scheduled for 7:05. The rain is coming down in buckets. I mean, it's going sideways. It's like, I don't know. It was going so many different directions. It was crazy. I thought the tornado was going to hit the stadium, okay?
Yeah.
So I am outside. I go, man, if there's going to be a tornado, I don't think it'll blow the whole stadium down, but I kind of want to try to see it. So I'm in the concourse, and we had a player for a brief stint this year, Stu Baroa.
Oh yeah.
And me and Stu we're out in the concourse. The wind is blowing the rain so hard it's going horizontal. Okay, and we're 30 feet away from the fence, and we're getting just crushed with rain. Boom, just hitting us in the face. And we're like looking at each other like, hey, this is awesome, you know, like, and the wind's blowing us, it's just whipping. So it's probably, I don't know, 6 o'clock, 5:45, 6 o'clock when this is going on. And it's just raining cats and dogs. The sky's all crazy colors. Eventually we had enough. We go in to the stadium. We're like, you know, let's try to dry off here. This game's definitely not happening. We go in, we're sitting down for like 45 minutes. Haney comes out, hey, we're going to be in a delay. And we're like, great, here we go. We started that game at 7:20, 15 minutes after it was supposed to start. And like, I've never seen anything. The rain was, I mean, it was like immediately like this deep on the street, but that was a fun one.
Yeah, hey, if you don't like the weather in Oklahoma, just hang out for a minute because it's going to change right in front of your own eyes. So
yeah,
hey, Dylan,
and we played and it was nice weather.
Yeah, no doubt. It was probably a little bit breezy and about 65 degrees, and you probably you were trying to consider, okay, do I just go short sleeves and tough it out, or do I go get my thin long sleeve? That's usually the choice after a rain shower in the spring.
Exactly.
Okay. Dylan Nasiatka, it is always an honor, a pleasure, and quite frankly, it's a hell of a lot of fun to get to talk to you about baseball, because when I talk to you, I feel like I know a little bit about the game, but every time I talk to you guys, it's like it's an encyclopedia of learning more about the game. So what an honor it is for me. Thank you so much.
Casey, no, thank you. You're right. The game's shifting so much. It's always updating. So
It is.
there's new things coming around all the time, and it's a task to stay on top of it. But no, it's always a pleasure. Yeah, I love being on here.